Hi, this is Dina with Pretty Productive. Welcome back to my channel. Today what I'm going to be doing is an August budget close and start to prepare for my September budget. Now I have worked on my September budget, but I can't finalize it till I close out August and see if I have any incremental funds left in my envelopes. And just as a hint, probably not. I've tried really hard this last week of the month to not spend money. So I did go to the grocery store. We've been eating at home every day. I did have to get gas. My car is currently in the shop only because I'm going out of warranty, and I just had them check out some things before my warranty ended on September 7th. So hopefully they don't find anything that's not covered, but I do have a sinking fund for car maintenance. So let's go ahead and get started. So over here I have from the $1 bill to the 100, that is everything that was in my back to bank. I did add some money into here that I had pulled out and then ended up not needing. So instead of taking it back to the bank, I just went ahead and threw it in here. After I turned the camera off last week, I did a deep dive into my transactions, what I have to pay on my card yet, and what I had. So totally I had, I think it was $1,400 in here before I added in the $500. And when I look at what I've paid on my card, everything was paid off. So I have already scheduled the final payment. That will be on the 2nd of September. So my card will be clear for this month. So let's go ahead. And I am kind of going back and forth about what I want to do for next year as far as my budget book and things like that. I've used the Erin Condren one since 2019. This is the monthly deluxe planner in the 7x9. And I kind of walked away from this and just used worksheets. I am really kind of liking being back into this, so we'll see. Okay, so we left off with the 21st, it looks like. So for groceries, groceries are in blue. So I had Costco for $186, Fry's for $3, and Trader Joe's for $73. Now my husband and I share a card, Capital One card, and I was paying him back, and I finally decided it's stupid that he doesn't have his own card. But he does randomly go and stock up at Costco when I'm really not expecting it, particularly at the end of the month. So we're gonna have to have a little conversation about that. I mean, I don't want him to have to call me and ask me, am I allowed to spend money? Because of course, if you need it, get it. But it kind of did throw me for a loop because none of the things he got were things we needed right now. He got, protein shakes and some supplements for himself, things like that. So definitely not things that we couldn't have waited on. We already had some, but it is what it is. So we had $379 in groceries minus the $262 that we spent. We should have $117 in groceries. And then eating out, Sonic for $5, which was basically drinks for my daughter and I. Burger King for $9, and that's it. I had a doctor's appointment, and I had blood work done, and so I've been trying really hard not to eat fast food because, it wasn't good. She did ask me how my diet was, and my response was better, not perfect. And she said, thank you for being honest, but marked a difference in all of my tests. So I'm really glad that I did make that a priority, and it needs to be something that I prioritize as well going forward. 138 minus 14, 124, and eating out. So if you have followed my channel for a while, you will know that is a rarity. I never have money left in eating out. Spending was empty, so yeah. Gas, I got one $53. And I do have a loaner car from the dealership, but it's an all electric. So I had kind of slotted $15 to $20 that I would need to fill it up before I turned it back, but I don't need to worry about that now. So I have $32 left in gas. My mom, I did not spend anything. So I did roll that 40 over when I looked at my September budget. Household was empty. Miscellaneous, I did not use. Well, I might be using that. I do have one unbudgeted. I'm going to go ahead and take some of that from here. I think my unbudgeted was 23. So I had put a notification that I wanted a certain stamp set that was out of stock, and it came in stock, so I did go ahead and get it. Medicine, I am actually over. I spent $90, and that's only because I picked up my script and then my husband's script, which was a lot more expensive than I had thought. So 90 minus 38, we are over 52. Date night, did not use, so 95. And personal care did not use 7. So just if you're newer to my channel, everything that's on here that's color coded are what I consider my cash envelope. So if I was an all cash spender, I would just take this money from these categories. That is what would be with me. I would use it, I would track it, and it would be done. But because I use my credit card for everything and pay it off at the end of the month, this just helps to keep me under control so that I can continue to budget each category. And for some reason, oh yeah, here it is. Walgreens for 90, gas for 53. Okay. So that is it. So when I look at what I have left, or what I should have, let me go ahead and let's take it out first and pay ourselves back. Again, it's going to take me a few months to get used to this being over here. Being in a black one. So I need to take out $262 from groceries. So $250. Here's 2. So I'm going to put a 20 in and take out 2 10s. So 150. I knew there was another 100 in there. So 1, 2, 50, 62. Okay. Let me put this back to bank. I do think I want something with me because I'm at my daughter's house a lot. And when I see transactions come through, because every time my Capital One card is used, I get an alert on my phone and my watch. And that's how I know that my husband just went to Costco and how much he spent. So I do want something with me because there's that moment where I kind of panicked and said, what do I even have left in groceries right now? And are we going to go over? Because I knew I still was going to go to Trader Joe's to get food for the week and to plan out some meals. So it would be nice if I could just say, okay, I know that we're fine. So we have left 51, 5, 6, 7, 17, 117. And that is correct. And I need to take 14 out of eating out. So anything that's left in my wallet, I'm going to put to the side. Some will go into savings challenge. Some will help to cover some of my overages, my unbudgeted. And then what's left may go into vacation. So I need 14. put in 15. And put one more. Okay. Okay, so 20, 40, 60, 70, 80, 91, 5, 10, 15, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Okay, 124. Gas, I need to take out 53. So I'll put in 55 and take out 2. I thought I should have, oh no, 32, that's right, 10, 20, 32. Okay, medicine, it's all this plus still a deficit. So 20, 30, 5, 38. Okay, so 38 there, still under. Miscellaneous, I'm going to go ahead and take this 15, and I still owe this $8 to be balanced. I'm going to leave the 40 in here for my mom. And household, date night. Okay, so date night is one that I tended to leave. But this is also entertainment money, right? So 20, 40, 60, 70, 80, 90. 20, 40, 60, 70, 80, 85, 90, 95. I think for date night, I'm going to leave this here. I'm going to let this roll over. And then I am going to make another envelope for entertainment. Self-care has $7. I'm going to let that roll over. And that should be it. Okay. So, there's a couple transactions on here that need to come out of vacation. But let's go ahead and fill in this part on my beginning sheet. So this is the sheet that I use at the beginning of the month to kind of plot everything out. And I normally don't come back in here and put the actuals in, but I started a binder for these because, you know, I really don't keep this book after the year is done, but I could keep this to really give me an actual of what I spent. So in groceries, we started with 700. We had 117 left. So we actually spent 583. And eating out, we started with 300 minus 124. We really spent 176. That's just amazing. If you know me at all, you know that is amazing. Spending, by the time I added, so for spending I had 140. 140. And 0 left. Gas, I started at 250 minus 32 at 218. Household, I have nothing left. No, wait. Actual was 50. My mom, I didn't spend anything. Medicine. Okay, this is where I went way over, but I added. I had 50, and then I added 100, but I spent $202. And the difference was 52. Miscellaneous, I spent it all, so entertainment is really still there. Okay, I'm gonna skip it. Entertainment because it was mixed in with date night. And then personal care, I spent, my actual was 200 because I added a 20. That's why I had, actually I should, my actual should be 220 minus 7, 213. But I added 20 here. And I added 40 there. Okay. So 117 plus 124 plus 32 plus 40 minus 52. So 261. And then I'll correct those two. Okay. So over here on my bills, I just kind of did a really quick what my actuals were. Most of these are pretty much done. A couple of the things that were really odd for us, I think I talked originally about the fact that our insurance company, our medical insurance, my husband and I are both retired. We're not of Medicare age. So we do pay for our insurance out of pocket, and it's quite pricey. Well, our insurance company that we were with is not renewing policies or having some financial issues, so we have been looking for insurance this month, which I think we found. But in the meantime, they never pulled the premium out of our account for the month of August, which was $1,838. I called them because I figured, does that mean we don't have insurance? We were told we had insurance through the end of August because that's when our policy would have renewed. And they said yes, that in my particular state, they were not pulling out the monthly premium. So, gift to us. I took this $1,838 and transferred it into my medical spending account because while we should have insurance by September 1st, they are so backlogged because of all the people who left them Blue Line that's going back into public safety retirement insurance that they can't give us an answer yet. So I figure the more of a cushion we had here, the better off we would be. My electricity was a little bit less than what I had estimated. It's actually less than last year, which is surprising because there's now 4 people living here versus 2 last year. My water was a little bit down, and a couple things were a little bit more. So I picked up the water service from my daughter when they moved in here. And because they were in a second story apartment, she used to tip them $10, almost $11, to bring the water jugs upstairs. I live in a single story house. He literally drops them off in front of my door. I don't mind tipping him, but I'm not going to tip him $10 because that's just, it's already kind of an expensive program. So I would have been under here, but then the tip came in separately. So I had a conversation with my daughter that we need to go through and clean up that particular item. Also, I brought down the amount of jugs, the 5-gallon jugs that we got because we had so many extra, and now we are literally not going to have water for the last 5 days. So we probably will take one, fill it up. So I do need to, I think I took it down too much. I probably should have it back at 5. We had it at 7 for a while, then I took it to 3. So, and that's why there's going to be a fluctuation in the price. Okay, that's everything on this one. Now, we owe 52 plus 8. And then there's one other one that I was not planning on for this month, but ended up coming through, which is my pest control. So I put $35 a month away. It's a quarterly expense of $95. And somehow I am very off the schedule that I have in the calendar. So I paid the $95. I have $35 in the envelope. So 95 minus 35. I need another $60. So I'm going to take that out of this excess money. So 50, 60. So that should be 95 now. $50, $70, $80, $95. Okay. So I'll start back up fresh with September, putting 35, and then now maybe I'm on a schedule. I don't know. I don't know how I got off schedule, but I did. Okay, so pest control. Let me just go back here. Okay, so this 8 was done. The 95 was done. I did have a date night. Okay. Okay, so for 79, 20, 40, 60, 80, 90. 80. Put back 1. Guess I should have looked at that first before I was very proud. So now date night entertainment has 16. Okay. Well, at least we didn't go over. Okay, so this one I need to address yet. That was a bill. I addressed that one. That one. Gas is done. Date night is now done. Groceries was done. I spent $35 when I went to the doctor's. That's a transfer out of our medical savings account. Groceries. The medicine we've done. Eating out, yes. Bills. Groceries. Bills. Okay. And that unbudgeted was done last time. Okay, so vacation. Now, I had a bunch of money in my Venmo because when my daughter did the Facebook Marketplace, they Venmo'd her and then she Venmo'd me back. So I've kind of just left that money there and transferring it as I needed it. So some of my cash stuffing was when I worked, plus it was part of that money. So I did take $400 and put that into my vacation fund. And then in September, I'll add more to it. But we are going to Disneyland, so we did go ahead and get the tickets because now you can't go there and buy tickets. You have to buy them in advance. And you have to buy them for a specific day. So I did go through and buy those. So for my husband and I, for the one day is $275. So 1, 2, 20, 40, 60, 80. Okay. So this goes back in. And so in vacation now I have 20, 40, 60, 80, 125. And then I will probably take more money from what's in Venmo. I'll transfer that. I did commit to some dates of working. And then I've been selling on Mercari, and that was kind of what I earmarked for vacation. So once all the sales that I currently have in process come in, I will cash that out, and that'll be about $200. So that will also go in towards vacation. Now this vacation is going to be a little bit different in that we are staying at my parents' timeshare, which we have sold. So this will be our last year of using it. So we'll drive to California. We'll be there. So it's, like a typical timeshare. It's got everything you need there. My daughter and family's coming. So, going out dinner with 2 kids probably isn't going to be that much fun. But we did plan a day for Disneyland. We do have some family that lives there. So we'll visit with them. My husband will probably golf once. So we kind of have some very tentative plans. But Disneyland obviously is going to be our most expensive part of that vacation. So tickets are bought, so I feel good about that. Okay, so all of these are done. So let's take a look at what we have left and give it some direction here. Probably drives you guys crazy. I count like this, but I have to have them in order before I can count. Okay. So 50, 70, 90, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160, 170, 180, 190, 195, 200, 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So 218. Okay, so right off the top, I'm going to take 110 and I'm going to put this into my vacation. So that gives me 50, 70, 90, 110, 130, 150, 170, 190, 210, 235. So 235 in vacation. Now I do have a separate savings account at my credit union for vacation, but I leave that there for just paying off my card. I like to take cash with me, but I'll still be, if I can't use cash, it'll be similar to what I did in my last video where I came back from vacation, had the cash there, and then paid off any bills that I had from that. So I think the rest of this we're going to be using for some of the savings challenge. And I know from watching a lot of budget videos, I do really enjoy watching budget videos. I think it's so encouraging that the budgeting community, it really is ageless. It's from very young to older to different stages of life, different budget scenarios, some with really financial hardship, some just clawing their way out of, past mistakes or past debt or job losses, things like that, medical bills. It's interesting to me to hear everybody's story, but one common ground is that it's a desire to take control of your finances and also to, get ahead in life, have a better quality of life. A big part of the community is savings challenges. Now, there are many, many shops that sell different savings challenges. That could be for, say, $50 to save $100 to save $10,000, whatever it might be. there are some channels that will just do savings challenges, and the comments are like, well, why don't you just make one big savings? Why are you doing other little savings? So for those of us in the community that are here because we want to be held accountable, savings is not our go-to. You know, if we could save like that on a regular basis, every dollar extra that we saved, we would probably not have been in the financial situation that we were, because we're spenders, we're not savers. So there is a reason that savings challenges helps those that don't normally save well. It gives them a focus and a purpose, and there's such an excitement when you complete a savings challenge and you can take that money and put it toward something else, whether it be debt or a vacation or a new home or whatever it might be. So that is why I love saving challenges, because I know for myself personally, I've already done this once. It paid for a beach house that we did in San Diego for my family, which enabled my kids to be able to go without having to contribute. They did have to buy the food, but you know, it was just saving a little bit every day. It took me almost a full year to actually fund this. So that is why I'm excited that I'm starting it over again. I did also print out the tracker. Where did I put that? Here we go. So I just kind of changed this around. Let's move this to the side. Okay, dry erase. So last week when I started this again, I did $1, $2, and $87. Okay, so let's see what we can do this week. Okay, so let's do 5. And if you didn't see my prior video, this is something that I sell in my shop. It's just the 1 through 100 numbers and the tracker. I don't do the envelopes. I did this as a test, and they're a lot of work, and it's not something that I really want to do. It's just, these little envelopes are just very hard to do. Okay, I'm going to do the $6 one because I have all these ones right now. And then I have a punch that's like a notch because I did find that it's easier if I can see what money is in there. And then we'll do 7. Okay, I'm going to do 15. I'm going to do 16. Do 11. And then I'm going to do 13 just so I have another random one sitting there. 13. I'm going to do 10. So I just put little tabs because I was going to put dividers in and then I never did, but it just helps me to find the number that I'm looking for. And then, did I do 10? That's the one I just did. Okay, let's do 20. Okay. Okay, so off camera, I will just go back and check these off. You don't need to check these off because you can look at the envelope and see what still needs to be filled, but I just think it's a good visual. If I ever want to pull money for this challenge, then it'd be nice just to be able to see what denominations I need. But other than that, okay, so I am overall very happy with the way this month turned out. I still am spending way too much on my hobbies. So I am going to do a low buy for the month of September. And that means that if it's something like the stamp set that I've had on my wish list and put a notification in for when it got back into stock, something like that, then I can go ahead and buy it. I am still kind of working out what planners I'm going to be using for next year. I've always been a Hobonichi, but with the cost of the Hobonichi cousin now, plus the tariffs, because I've always bought it directly from Japan, and the unknown about the tariffs. So that's the part. They can't tell me like, okay, well, it'll be an extra $15 and you're going to get a bill from this third party. It could be anything. So you've already spent the money for the product, and then you're kind of held hostage to pay the tariffs because they can't tell you up front because it's a third party, area. So I think if I'm going to get the cousin again, I'm going to buy it from a shop in the US. I know it's going to be more expensive because they've paid the tariffs on it, but that's just kind of the world we live in right now. Or I can look at some different options. But everything that I buy, a lot of the things I buy from shops and things like that come from Canada, Japan. So I love Japanese stationery, but I, first of all, have more than I need first. Second of all, it's just, there's so many unknowns right now. I really need to pull back and take a look. And I need to be budgeting a lot better for my hobbies. I would say just get rid of some of my hobbies, but they make me very happy. So I'm not going to do that. So that's everything for this video. Now that I have closed out the August budget, I can go in and look at the September budget. This money needs to go back to the bank. I can look and see what I need to fund for the month of September. Just as a side note for insurance, so if we get the insurance that we signed up for, it is roughly $300 less than what we were paying for it because we got a plan that our deductibles are a little bit higher and our copays are higher, but it's less per month. Plus we get a $260 kickback from the state because my husband is retired law enforcement. We've never used that because we could always get better deals in other things or when he was working, but at this point that's been our best bet. So I have what we're going to be paying plus the additional $300. So I've just budgeted $1,900, and I'm just going to leave that in the account because who knows when that's going to finalize. And so my plan is every month, since I'm used to budgeting $1,838, I'm just going to keep it at $1,900. The balance will go back into our medical savings account to offset those higher deductibles and offset the higher copays. So that is my plan right now. It's still not finalized. They keep telling us not to worry, but I am worried that we're not going to have insurance as of Monday. I've taken all my doctor's appointments. I got everything done. My husband has a bunch of doctor's appointments in the month of September, so we shall see. Okay, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions at all, please let me know. If you have not done so already, please consider subscribing, and have a great rest of your day. Bye.